All right, now we're going to have you focus on and curate an actual follow-up plan. One of the cool things about being in command is you can go download a smart plan for an entire follow-up plan, but you're going to want to tailor it for your local market, your local needs. So Jessica, let's just rattle off some ideas back and forth. What are some things you use to follow up?
Well, one of the easiest and obvious ones is the KPA. It's a great relationship building tool, and it really takes that relationship from the 8 to the 9 to the 10. And it's so much different of an experience than what they're getting at their brokerage.
I love that. I love handwritten notes still today because very few people use them. So that's usually my go-to. What else?
I love doing a Facebook ad for them and showing them how many leads they're leaving on the table at their brokerage. They love that, and I share the leads with them.
That is so good. One of the things I'll do is I'll watch Facebook and see who they're doing business with, like a vendor or somebody, and I'll do a brag call to that vendor for them. And I know that vendor is going to call them. What else do you do?
I invite them to anything extraordinary. So I'm pretty much inviting them every 10 to 15 days in that sort of cadence for everybody that's an 8, 9, or not quite 10.
That's so good. And every month you should have at least one amazing event that you can invite people to. Of course, there's phone calls and text messages and all those things. What have we left out, Jessica?
Well, I love to help them track with another agent that might be 2 or 3 steps ahead of them as almost like their KW buddy or someone role modeling for them. And so I'm really big into giving them the KW experience as much as possible besides the training. And again, that could be as simple as doing a monthly coaching session with them.
That is so good. And you were telling a story about an R2 or a capper that you've recruited recently that if you hadn't followed up, they wouldn't have come. Will you tell that story?
Well, I could tell you the story over and over and over again because the fortune's in the follow-up. And so, when you're calendaring yourself, just make sure lead generation and lead follow-up both exist. So when I just recently just called an agent that really was not even an 8 quite yet. She had a lot of things going on in her life, but we were building relationship. And I really was just calling her to invite her to Mega Camp. And she said, "I'm so glad you called me. My broker just made some massive changes in our office and I am not happy." She had a TOM, a ticked off moment. And you know what? She moved that month. So if I wouldn't have called her, I would have missed that opportunity potentially.
You use the polite acronym. I appreciate that. That's so good. Yes. And it's a great point that you make. I don't know how many times we hear, "I'm so glad that you called me." This is great because I'm going to put a pin in this point. We talked earlier about maybe alienating people or feeling like we're pushing them too much. I've had a lot of people say to me when I finally have reached out to them, "You haven't called me in a long time and I just made a move," or "I'm thinking about going somewhere else." So you have to stay in touch. Remember, people are going to make a change. They care about 2 brokerages, the one they're at and the one they would go to if they were ever unhappy. And a lot of times they fall into that unhappy place. So Jessica, tell us what's next.
Next, we'd like you to download the follow-up plan and take a few minutes and customize what you think would be a phenomenal follow-up plan that you can start with. And after that, we're going to wrap this course.